All right. Today, I thought I would share a video with you on the 25 major reasons why Indians are facing problems in places like Canada, Australia, United States, mainly abroad. Now, this is an exhaustive list. It's 25 points. So, obviously, if I speak 1 minute per point, which I don't, it would go for 25 minutes. So if I speak 2 minutes, 50 minutes. So 2 minutes per point. So what I suggest to you is listen to this at 1.5x speed or whatever speed suits you. And listen to it when you're doing some work or driving. Or if you want to take down points, well, listen to it, pause. Okay. And if you have any questions or comments, whether you agree or disagree, feel free, comment down below. And I will give you my response. Now, I came out with this list after speaking to HR professionals who are based abroad, and they have either Indian roots or they have experience working with Indians. The other category is Indians who have been abroad for close to 15, 20, some even 30 years. And then there are obviously people who have lived abroad, stayed abroad, and for some reason or another, they decided to come back to India. So I spoke to these various categories, just having a casual conversation, and then what I did is I had a second round of calls, and I said, "These are the points. What do you think?" And given the fact it's 2025, the year, I thought, why not make 25 points? So obviously, they could be more, they could be less, but I decided 25. Okay, so let's get on with it and let's start. Number one, the first major problem, it seems, with Indians, in no particular order, I'm just giving you as it is. The first point is there are too many Indians. Oh, this is, you don't need rocket science to tell you this, but there are just too many Indians. Like India's population is 1 billion. Just imagine. So even if you take a 10% of 1 billion, I mean, that's a huge amount, yeah. It's not small. I'm not very good at maths, but let me see. 10% of, where is it? 10% of 1 billion. Okay, 10% of 1 billion is 1, 2, 3, over 100 million. Yeah, not very good with maths. Okay, 100 million. So just imagine the population of United States is around 300 million. And just 10% of our Indians only become 1/3 of USA. Now, obviously, it is not like all the 100 million are going to USA. But you get what I'm saying. Wherever Indians are allowed, or it's a place to be, it's not one Indian who comes. The minute one Indian comes, he will bring or he will inspire or he will influence the whole village to follow. When I was in Dubai, this was the common phrase they used to use. Arabs, those days, you're talking of 80s, they would say that Indian is like cockroach. By the way, I'm an Indian passport holder, okay? So don't say, oh, racist. Okay, I have shown you my Indian passport so many times here. See, some people feel who are new to my channel, hey, you New Zealander, why are you talking? You sound like Indian. Indian passport, Baba, Indian passport. I can talk about India. Okay. So they said Indians are like cockroach. You kill one cockroach, you get 100 different cockroaches, and the cockroach doesn't die. Also, it will still survive. You chop its head, also it will survive. And then there was another call to fame for our Indians is you put an Indian anywhere. You put him in a desert. You put him in China. You put him even on the moon. And our Indian will open up a business, or our Indian, especially if it's a Keralite Muslim, because they were very business-minded those days, they will open a kadak chai shop, a shop selling kadak chai, and with parota and Indian food, which is very delicious, I would tell you. I'm very proud of it. I love that food, and I really, really miss it. There's nobody who can replicate Malbari chai, Kadak chai. Indians, they've just mastered it. Yes, there are disgusting videos, but Indians only know how to make the chai. And second, yes, there are disgusting places and videos shown about Indian food, but those are extreme. But if you actually eat in an Indian uh, restaurant, normal Indian hygiene, not the Western kind of the thing. It's nice, man. It's really nice. Okay, not hating on Indians, but I miss the masala dosa. Oh, I miss the masala dosa. I miss the Indian food. The taste it can never be replicated. And it's not like going to a five-star hotel. When you go to the village, the taste. Okay, so the first one is there are just too many Indians. And that is why now the shock value that, oh, he's of Indian origin. He became the CEO of this company or that company. That freshness is lost. Now, when you get an Indian who becomes Indian origin or Indian sounding name, became a CEO of a company. Before it was, our Indians are conquering the world. No, they dumped your Indian passport. They threw it out. They forfeited the citizenship. They've embraced a new citizenship, and now they're living as Americans, Canadians, and their loyalty is to that country, not to India. They pay taxes to that country, not to India. So, yeah, one is there are too many Indians here. Yes, too many. Here also, Thailand, just too many Indians. It's even the tourists now, the Western expats are complaining. They're like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I've come down to Pattaya, and instead of seeing Pattaya girls and international tourists, there are all Indians everywhere. So you can't just help it. The second one is, let me just, make this point, others I might not know I've said it. The second thing is, our Indians now, I don't know whether it's the Indian culture or it's the Indian mentality or upbringing. When you can tell me if I'm wrong about this. When you bring in an Indian new to your company, or when you're friends with an Indian new, or when you meet an Indian for the first time, they're very humble, they're very nice, they have that curiosity. Like, I was watching Carl Rock, a YouTuber based, foreigner based in India. Whenever he takes a video, and if someone sees him and they're new, like he's taking a video, and they will come and sit like this, and they will stand and pose next to you, and they want to be part of that video. Okay. And then if you go and meet an Indian for the first time, they'll be nice to you, they'll be polite. Like if you go to a five-star hotel, the guy with the turban, big tall guy, namaste, sir, and this and that. Okay. However, unfortunately, once they get used to it, like they say, they get the air of that place. They stop being humble. They stop being nice. And then you realize this was all a facade. This was all an act. An act because he was trying to analyze you. He was trying to figure you out. Is he bigger than me, smaller than me, richer than me, poorer than me? Can I take advantage of him? And then they show you their real colors. And and sometimes it gets really bad. Like, I'll tell you, initially when Indians, they had gone to Canada, it seems, there was this guy who told me, they were very humble, very nice, very polite. He's saying after staying there for a couple of years, now they are like literally, like they made that area where they stay very Indianish. They celebrate Indian festivals. They make a lot of noise. They shout and scream when they are in groups. I saw one of the Instagram videos where a lady at 3 in the morning is trying to sleep, but these Indian guys are going in a marriage or something. Bale, bale, bale. They're doing all that sound. And this lady is like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm trying to sleep. I've stayed here for nearly 20 years. I'm trying to sleep. What are you doing? And then when you pass by, they will organize their Hindu festivals, or I'm not trying to attack Hindus, but what I'm trying to tell you, just imagine a community where they celebrated their festivals quietly, Christmas or whatever, New Year, in the house, Thanksgiving, whatever, quietly. All of a sudden, you have these new Indian guys where initially were nice, but now they are like Diwali, bale bale, and shouting. And like, for that matter, even Muslims, not just Indian Muslims, but Muslims in general from uh, Arab countries. I mean, in London, when you see the videos, it's no longer British. It's no longer like those, like when you'd say UK, United Kingdom, you'd get the image of a white man, a white woman, like a British cup of tea, Queen Elizabeth. Today, you will get African community, Chinese community, Indian community, Paki community, Muslims, and wearing abaya and niqab and whatever. So obviously, people will get pissed off. You know, they'll be like, "Go back to your country, man." And I don't blame them. I don't blame them when they say it, because there was, like, you think back on the memories where it was very. I don't say that these countries are a Christian nation, but the majority were so-called Christians, non-practicing, and they lived a very, you know, their olden days, British life, fish and chips, celebrate Easter, celebrate Christmas, celebrate New Year, get drunk. Now, all of a sudden, you have Muslims who are taking ISIS flags, and you have Hindus coming with Jai Mata Di and a procession of all these gods. And obviously, these guys are going to be pissed off. No? So, the point I was trying to make is initially they're very humble and they try to be accommodating, but once they get used to it now, they bring their Indianish this thing out and they try to make that place India. I especially find it very embarrassing when in New York Times, like if you show something really classy in terms of dance, I can understand. But you have group of aunties and uncles and small boys and diggy 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 diggy, they'll do something and yeah, India, 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 India. Do something classy. I can understand. Practice and rehearse, I can understand. But you just stand on stage and you bring your 2, 3 daughters and 2, 3 sons and just, yeah, India, India. Okay. Um, number 3, that is, let me just make sure that I cut this and keep this there. So I know the right numbering. Number 3 is they find it very hard to adjust to the cultural norms of where they go. And trying to fake it doesn't mean that you are British or Canadian or American or Australian. I'll give you an example. Like when they come there, obviously Indian sounds Indian. Hello, how are you? And many people can't understand. They make fun of them. Obviously, if you have to be understood by them, you have to, if not have their accent, at least pronounce the words properly. Like if you say, "What do you do? What do you do?" The guy will be, "Sorry, what? Like, what do you?" I don't expect you to say, "What do you do?" Actually, here's a stupid thing. There are some Indians who think by they're studying accent and putting on an accent, you become a foreigner. Some of my relatives, I'm very sorry to say this, they have spoken to me after 10, 15 years. I'm so used to the Indian style of speaking, like how I speak with the accent, which some people tend to make fun of, which I'm sorry, Baba. Chinese will sound Chinese, Indian will sound Indian, Japanese will sound Japanese. Don't think everyone sounds like the West is not the standard pronunciation for English. Okay. And even the English themselves or the Americans or whichever, they themselves struggle to understand each other. Speak to an African American, speak to someone who is aristocratic in the UK, the same, speak to someone who's Irish, speak to someone who's Australian. They can't understand each other. We know that. Okay. So when they come there, they try to be slow and try to be polite. But then they think once they're there for a couple of years, they'll put on an accent. Hey, what is it you can't do, man? Ha 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 ha. You'll see a group of Indians or guys with, Punjabi pagdi or a turban or whatever. Hey, mate, what's going on? Hey, Sukhwinder. Hey, listen, man. Why not bring? There was a guy. His name is Anil, and when he kind of spoke to me because he booked a session. Hi, my name is Anil. It really sounded like anal. Anil. Like, say Anil, yeah? Just say Anil. What is anil? You're a nil, like 0, or a anal, or anal. That's stupid, yes. I've given the previous example where instead of Sukhwinder Singh, my name is Sukhwinder Singh. Swing, like swing, swing. And then you have the short form of instead of uh, like, which is okay, except instead of saying Muhammad, you want to sound cool and hey, my name is Mo. It's kind of Mo, that kind of. Instead of Rakesh, you can call me R. R. Okay. So yeah, putting on an accent is not being part. It's like if I were to give a cartoonish comparison, it's like a group of buffaloes are there. They're all standing there, group of buffaloes. And this tiger comes and puts two horns and thinks, yeah, I'm trying to blend in. Yo, 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 I'm trying to blend in. No, it doesn't happen that way. So I'm not saying that be Indian with an Indian accent, okay, which is hard to understand. Neither should you try to fake it and be what you're not. Okay, it's a very thin, delicate balance. Like I see many, I'll give you an example just so that you understand. Others will be confused with this point. There are many Goras who come here, Westerners who come here. Okay, they come down here and they'll wear like this kind of shirt, which is kind of cheap, but they'll wear like a banyan, and then they'll put this Hindu beads, beads, no yoga kind of Hindu, like what the sadhus wear, and they'll put a tika. Okay, they'll put a tika, and they will have a bell in their hand, actual bell. And if you go and meet them, namaste. Like if they see an Indian, namaste. Or they'll be swadikap, swadikap. Like, just because you wore a hippie outfit and you put a couple of this thing and you put a tika and you have a bell, you don't become the Indus Valley civilization or someone from a Hindu background. Seriously, you go to their house, they will have the photographs of Shiva, Durga, Ganpati, and this and that, and you will see them namaste. Like they're acting who they are not. And the best part is, if they go for getting drunk, or in the night with the pub, all this goes away. And same thing with so many foreigners. When I was in Calcutta, okay, seriously, I was there. That was my second wife. Second wife? Yeah. There are these bunch of hippies, goras who come there. They shave and they have a ponytail. And I'm not making up this story. They have the bell, the bell, ling, 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 okay, there. And this guy he's a black guy, okay, black, African American, whatever. He has this bell in his hand. He has shaved his hair to a ponytail kind of thing. And he has put the tika and he has put this Hindu orange thing. Okay. And he has this something here. And he actually wore a dhoti. I don't know how he managed. And he went to this place, which is very famous for English and Western breakfast. He had cornflakes with milk and burger and everything. See, the burger. No. And after he finished all that, okay, I don't know which burger, whether it was a chicken burger, whether it was a beef burger, whatever. He ordered a burger and French fries, and he had a heavy breakfast, solid appetite. And I was, having if I remember, porridge and pancakes, whatever. That is not important. So after he finished all this, and he's talking to his friends in English, okay, very much English, very much. After he finished all that, when you go, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, and la 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 la, Rama, 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 ding, ding, and he would play. Like all of a sudden, he became this Hindu guy. He became the hippie version of, follower of Lord Rama. So now, what I'm asking you is, do you think he's Hindu? Do you think he is the follower of Lord Rama or Lord Krishna? No. You're trying to act what you're not. The same problem with our Indians. They think, like another final example I'll give you. In Canada, you have these guys who drive Lamborghinis and Ferraris, rich Punjabi and rich. But the minute they come out and they talk, "Arey teri pudina nahi pudina teri maa ki pen ke." Okay, so you got it. So just because you try to fake it doesn't mean you are that. Next point. This, I think, is predominantly a problem for people based in, I think, Germany, France. I'm not too sure about Russia. Okay. You can learn the language, and you must learn the language in order to get a job. Okay, Germany, though 100%, I have many clients who are there. France, 100%, I know. Russia, I'm not too sure. You can learn the language. The dialect is very hard to match. And people are aware, the locals are aware that you're trying to blend in, you're trying to learn German, you're trying to communicate. They appreciate that. It's not that they don't. But that doesn't make you a German. That doesn't make you French. That doesn't make you Russian. You still look like a Ramu or a Rakesh or an Avinash or a Muhammad. You still look like that. Just because you speak that language is the same thing, like a Gora who memorizes Thai. You don't become Thai. Yeah. So, keep in mind, that is why most of the signboards, you see the signboards, which is the next point, is the signboards in Japan, Germany, France. The signboards are in their local language, which very clearly, point number 4 and 5, very clearly should indicate that they are very protective about their culture, their their tradition, their norms, and you are coming there and trying to live, be with them. But no matter how hard you try, you'll still be identified. It's like having, let's say, for example, a British or American goes to Africa or Kenya and lives in a village where there are normal Africans. So you'll be a white guy with all blacks. Or let's say, for example, an Indian or African, he goes to a place like, let's say, Norway or Switzerland, not Switzerland, like the Viking, some of the Viking places where there are only, it's a very close community, all whites, and they're very large. So you being an African or an Indian or, you look different, right? So our Indians, when they go out, it's like you can just spot them. Like if I were to go with my tattoos, you'll spot me out. So when they spot you out, it's always like, okay, what is he doing here? And they observe you, they look at you, and you are under a magnifying glass. So if you don't care a damn and you're not having the maturity to know how to behave and act, you're in serious trouble. And here's the thing, they capture you on camera. We have seen lately so many videos of Indians urinating, which I put on Thailand. In Canada, there was a guy urinating in one corner place of the UK. Yes, there are foreigners also who do that. But you get what I'm saying. You see all whites, they don't stand out. But you see one Indian among whites, he stands out. So yes, they will take it. It's unfair. Yes, I agree with you. But isn't that the same situation when a white, a blonde with blue eyes goes to India and everyone's like, oh, they don't know how to behave? So yeah, and there was also this video in, I think it was in USA. This American guy pays for his fare to travel in the train, and then this Indian guy tries to push without having to pay. And they took a video, and it spoiled the name. So keep in mind that you'll always stand out. Just as a foreigner, white with blonde blue eyes, goes to India, they stand out. You'll stand out in their country. And yes, you can assume that you're trying to blend in, but still you'll be looked as a black dot on a white sheet. You stand out. Like wherever I go, I stand out. Now, I can't blame everyone. Next one. Now, this one is important because point number 6 is workplace discrimination. And this is very much becoming a reality. Initially, it was like the whites or the locals discriminating them. I had this Indian lady who was working in this German multinational company, and initially she faced all of them, like they had been in this company for very many years, and for her to come, they were all like, "Oh, she took someone else's job." So that kind of discrimination is also there, and there was one Arab lady, okay, who she looks Arabic, she sounds Arab, well educated, very nice lady. She got a job in a government company, and the thing over there was All these people, same Germany, all these people were like 50s, 60s, and above. They never leave a government job. So she was telling me that I get the looks every time, like, whenever I go to the cafeteria, I go anywhere, they will all look at me and it feels very uncomfortable. So initially, this was what our Indians were facing. But now, our Indians are so many that they start forming these groups, this groupism that is there. North Indians will come together, Punjabis will come together, South Indians will come together, Mangaloreans will come together, Keralites will come together, people from UP will come together. And I saw one video of a delivery, this thing. They all came from the same village, apparently. So now what they have started to do is, okay, you're discriminating us, we will together discriminate against you. And I'll tell you, you might think that this is a moral victory. Yes, it's a very short victory, but long term, and given the number of people, you're in their country, you're on their turf, you're not going to win, man. You are going to lose. So the problem is now they have started to have the self-entitled, I'm Indian. Like, have you seen those videos, Canada, Australia? We work here, we deserve the visa. They've started to shout and scream and demand rights. Instead of making it look like I'm humbled, I'm honored, it's a privilege. No, we work here, you give us the rights, give us the visa, we will protest. Yes, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But you're not going to win a small group of people. You're not going to gain favor in the entire nation. You'll just make too many enemies. Number 7 is the changing legal and legal issues, the immigration issues, documentation. And this we've seen with Donald Trump. They can change their laws whenever they like. And more countries are now, they have realized, I need to stop being nice. I need to stop being accommodating. And it has made things worse with Arab Muslims who, they come in large droves. They want to escape the Sharia law. But after they go to this Western country, they bring in the Sharia law. Like, what are you trying to do, man? And they say, no, you Westerners, you don't know how to live. You don't have any values. You have to accept Allah. And so, and the problem is Indian, Pakistani, Bangladesh, Sri Lankan, more or less same color, skin tone, look the same. So all of them are judged. So number 7 is they are taking all these laws and they're changing them. And this will work against the Indians because people are just fed up here. How much can you take it? Like, that is why Donald Trump came, changed all the transgender laws and all the nonsense that people were quiet about. You can only push people to a certain limit. Number 8, this is something, I don't know how Indians are not aware of this, but it is not cheap to live abroad. It is expensive. And many of the Indians, when they go abroad, they try to be good family people. What they tend to do is they will send remittance back home. Okay, mom, okay, dad, okay, brother, okay, sister, I'm sending you some money. But just imagine, in Canada, we have this housing issue where they're living in the basement or they're living sharing. There are 30 people with 4 toilets. So they realize that, life abroad is very expensive. In fact, when I speak to these people on the phone and they tell me life here is so expensive and we even going in the bus or even eating out, or I said, you're earning in dollars, you'll spend in dollars, right? So even some of them can't afford clothes, they can't afford the basic amenities, which comes to my next point. Point number 9 is one of my relatives who used to love eating out, love going for movies, love, renting out expensive vehicles. Smart guy, educated guy. After he went to Canada, he has not gone out to eat. He has not been able to rent out any car. That is one of his passions. He has not been able to, even traveling. He says, it's long, it's boring, it's tiring. He says, I don't enjoy this one bit. And he said that, the stuff that I used to take for granted in Dubai, okay, going for a party, going for a restaurant, going for eating out, going for having ice cream, He's saying, now I have to really think. And I cook at home and I try to save money. He's saying, money just goes, man. And the basic stuff, that you tend to take for granted when you live in Dubai, places like Dubai, you'll realize it's a nightmare there. Okay, so, and he's saying, because I earn average, if I spend for all this, forget savings, I will be in minus, you know. Then, number 10, this one, this is becoming a thorn in people's back. And employers, especially employers and HR people, hate this. They hate it more than anything. And that is when they say, these guys who come down to Canada, Australia, America, whichever foreign country they come, when you talk to them, they will always say, back in India, in India, oh, in India, we don't do like this. Oh, back home in India, they give us salaries on time. Back home in India, we enjoy. You're insulting the host. You're insulting the privileges that are given, and you're comparing it to what you're getting. You know what is their response? They say, then get the fuck back to India, man. Go back from where you came from. Why the fuck are you here to complain, bitch and moan? Back home in India, they give better food. Back home in India, they're so understanding. Back home in India, I do this. People don't like it. And the people who get angry, the guy who's told me about this, he is from India. He came to Canada around 30 years ago. He said, I cannot tolerate such individuals and I'll never give them a job. Back home in India, then go back to India. Don't talk about back home in India here. This is Canada, or this is America, this is Australia. Talk about here. Then number 11, this is a major problem Indians face, which they don't think about. Homesick and loneliness. And majority of the college students, they talk about this openly. But it's not just the college students. It's husbands and wives who marry. Even today, my relatives who have gone to different parts of the world, US, Canada, Australia, and not a day goes by where they say, I just miss mom and dad. I just miss, one of my male relatives said, Roy, when it rains, the first rain in the village in Mangalore, when it rains, the smell of the wet earth, he's saying that smell. He's saying, I can't put a price tag on it. I've missed it so much. And they just miss everything from the culture, the food, the friends. Imagine throughout your life you lived with the culture, the food, the friends, the imperfections, the pollution, whatever. It's what you were born with. And now just because you're trying to live a very white life, you can't. There's nothing like being Indian in India, living with your Indian friends, Indian relatives, Indian culture, Indian style of doing things, Indian imperfections. You'll just miss it. I can tell you that much for sure. Ask anybody. Okay. Number 12, another major problem our Indians are facing abroad is Indian qualifications have seriously lost its value with the fake degrees. I've told you this in my previous videos. Imagine you're stating you have a PhD in English. Let that sink in. PhD in English, a master's degree in communication or master's degree in business. And when they are taking your interview, hello, sir, myself, Seema, I have PhD in English. All right. So can you tell me for example, if he asks, what is it that you bring to a table? Sir, I bring and he gave me this voice note, although he is not supposed to, but he trusts me, he knows me. Sir, I bring to table authenticity and understanding, and I'm very flexible, sir. So you can clearly make out, man, you purchased this bloody degree because you're talking total crap. And when he asked him, what do you think of servant leadership? Okay, what do you think of how would you manage someone who is boisterous? Sir, the boy have behaved like a boy, like a man. You can't do anything, sir. Just imagine, you're saying that you have a PhD, you have a master's from the so-called reputed university, and you can't pronounce, or you can't enunciate, or you can't even communicate. What image do you give of India, man? Uh, the next one, Indians are finding the hard way is healthcare. Canada, if you talk to anyone, they'll say free healthcare, free healthcare. United States, free healthcare. Boss, Google search a little, do a little bit of research. You know, if there's been a case, I obviously can't give you specific details. I think she had something broken or something like that, and the time period where she could be slaughtered in, it was something serious, was 5 weeks, because what was given in terms of free, it didn't come as emergency. Like, she was not in ICUs, like smashed or anything. There was another case where this individual suspected she had cancer, and it seems that it didn't cover the free this thing. She had to take an X-ray, which was not part of the free thing, which she had to pay money. And if she wanted it for free, she would have to wait for, I think, a month or 2 months. Just imagine that, huh? If you have cancer, you have to wait for 2 months if you want the free X-ray. So this so-called free, free, it's not as you think. And many Indians, surprisingly, they thought if it is for free, they'll get VIP treatment, like, a personal room, personal nurse, personal doctor. No, you have to sit and wait for hours and hours, for days and days, and weeks until your number comes out. Number 14, I think this started with Canada, and now it is even in Australia and other parts of the world. It's impossible to own a house. For Indians, if you have a house, it's a dream come true. If you have a house, for Indians, you have achieved greatness. Even the American culture, if you have a house, your life is made. You need to have a house, you need to have a car, you need to have a family. It was called the American dream, even for Indians. But today, Indians, even for rent, bed space, sleeping in the basement, in the cold, they don't have money even for that. And they're actually, I know some cases of 1 or 2 students who spoke to me, they're actually asking money from their fathers and mothers back home to send, so that they have a place to stay, because they're not able to manage the expense. And they were crying and telling me this. I really felt sorry. I mean, what do you do? And if you stay in a city, and if you stay in a place where there's a reputed job and reputed company, it's bloody expensive. So you have to stay so far off, where the travel time itself sometimes is 2 hours. Okay. Number 15, this has sadly started, especially after Donald Trump, leadership of Donald Trump, Modi, and all these aggressive leaders have come, where they're trying to, like, be American, buy American, protect America, America first, or they have these leadership, India, Hinduism, they're promoting. So each one is me, my, I. There's a lot of racial profiling being done. And I think we can see enough and more videos, even though it's kind of hard to get. But if you dig enough, like, a group of Indians are walking, they take a video and they throw something. Hey, you, curry, this thing, go back to your country. And it's really sad, because some of them are good people. Some of them mean no harm. Even cops, there was this really shocking incident. You can Google search this American cop. He had this Indian guy who was a grandfather. He was taking this dog for a walk. Nice, quiet community. The white guy, American cop, stopped the car, asked him his ID, and when he was putting his hand or something to get the ID, this cop guy took his hand, is a grandfather, put it at the back, and then used his leg to kind of judo flip him on the face while holding his hand, so he couldn't protect his face. And I think this guy went into a coma or something very serious, because he's old, grandfather. They tried to sue the cop in court, but they said he's just doing his job. So racial profiling has become bad to us. And I'm sorry to say, but there are some Indians who think they are Americans, and they've started to do a lot of shit. And these videos have come, which is so bad. Just Google search this: Indian caught in airport, American airport, stealing in the airport with the maximum cameras and maximum security. He stole from the airport, American airport. He was going to India. And then he's saying, sir, I come from a good family, sir. Sir, I'm Indian. We Indians are, sir, my mother and father have taught me value. He's caught red-handed. And he's saying all this. So you can't help but blame other people once they have, like they say, the taste, the experience. You think all Indians are the same? Yeah. I mean, you can justify all you want. Look at United States, how the African Americans are portrayed in movies, their music, and how they are treated, and the number of African Americans in jail. And I don't have to say more about why this becomes a massive issue. And now we have started to get our Arab Muslims or anyone who says, I'm a Muslim, especially in UK. You say, I'm a Muslim from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, anywhere. Just look at the videos of pedophile hunters and you'll know what I mean. So, Indians are now subject to racial profiling. Number 16, very sad. But when you say, like if you say made in America, you get an image. Made in Japan, in the 80s especially. Made in China, okay, it's cheap, but it'll work. But now you get made in India. You see what I'm saying? That image that comes made in India. You see Instagram and you see how guys put, they're cooking food, they put it in the underarm and put it there. Another guy, he takes, scratches his private parts and then cooks. Another guy puts his hand so deep into some juice or curry and serves people. So when you get these images constantly being bombarded, yes, they are very rare. It's not everywhere. Like even sweets, they are using their feet that look like it has some fungus or something and stamping on the feet and packaging it. So that is what you get about India. That is, few videos, they get stuck in your mind. And then you get Indians, when a tourist goes, blonde girl, and all you get, photo, so, madam, and you catch, one guy catches you and one guy gropes you. And you have that constantly being bombarded. And one of the videos which I shared with, after the article came out, Indians urinating in public, asking for discount with prostitutes. Tell me, when you say made in India or I'm Indian, what kind of image you get? And tell me who's to blame. See, there's no smoke without fire, right? You go to a buffet, you steal food, your nationality is pointed out. Bali tourist, tourist in Bali stealing. Which nationality? Indian. So who do you blame? And I'll tell you that image sticks. Those videos stick. Number 17 is, thankfully, not all Westerners believe that Indians are bad. But with this comes a kind of a very sad add-on. And that is Westerners who know that not all Indians are the same and they have that maturity, they will show you as if they tolerate you. It's like as if you're a disease. Like, when Muslims say, we tolerate all religions in the Gulf, or India, they say, we tolerate all. What you're trying to tell me is, you are on a moral high ground. You're tolerating me and my nonsense. That's what it actually means. We are superior to you. We are tolerating you. We'll tolerate your religion. We'll tolerate your culture. And it's not good. It's like you're getting the sympathy vote. And that is never good. So our Indians, they've started like, oh, poor thing. Okay. You need to earn your self-respect here. And 18 is, Indians have a massive issue. This, which is actually a blessing, is proving to be a little bit of a curse. Indians believe in a joint family profile. Okay. Mother, father, they stay together. The husband, wife stay together with the mother and father, and the children stay together all in one family, which was very reminiscent of American families those days. Okay. So now this is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying dump your parents and stay. Americans would say, you're grown up, you need to be independent. But I'll tell you where it's a problem. I had this client, let's for example, say Westerner, American, blonde, blue eyes. And she was telling me that she was romantically involved with this Indian guy working for this multinational company in a very good position. And obviously, she's also high position, he's high position. They fell in love and dated, romantic, went for holidays, Caribbean cruise, everything. And that is where they decided in a Caribbean cruise, he proposed to her. So she was very happy, very excited, dream come true, Indian man, exotic flavor in every way. So when she went home to meet the Indian guy at his home, joint family, the mother wearing a sari, yay, beti, and all that. But they were busy observing her, taking down notes. She literally felt they were taking down notes. Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to make chapati? Do you know aloo paratha? Do you know this thing? And she felt like they were taking an interview. And then the father, Betty, what about your mom and dad? Where do they stay? How much do you meet? Then he's looking to his son, बेटी ये चर्च जाती है या हमारे जो टेम्पल है वहां जाएगी like you're talking in a different language and she really felt very uncomfortable, very embarrassed. And then the mother took her to the kitchen and she was making tea and say, this is how you make Indian food, you have to feed my son properly. So the experience didn't go in the traditional sense of what she thought. And then like after the interview, they're sitting down and do you respect your mother, father, and we stay together. And then obviously after that they went for a walk. So she asked him like, I've never experienced all this. So then he started, yeah, by mother and father, most important, you have to respect them, have to honor them, have to take care of them. They come first, before you, before me, they come. Before we'll have children, they come. So that disturbed her so much that she booked a call with me because she was searching online. Then she was like, okay, this guy is pointing out the problems of Indians. And I told her what it was. Unfortunately, this story doesn't have a happy ending because she realized that his religion, his culture, his tradition, his Indianness was too deeply ingrained. And after the honeymoon phase was over, because they both were in their 30s, 40s, she realized it was not going to work. And also, most important point, he wanted her to stop focusing on her career and focus on being the homemaker, which she didn't want. So, number 19 is, which is a good thing, but then it becomes a bad thing when it is imposed. Like, have you seen my videos where my daughter comes and touches my feet, and my wife once a year, they have this tradition where she touches the parents' feet and she takes blessing and she is kind of submissive, and we have all these cultural nuances, go to the temple and do, like worship. And so these are traditional values. Like my wife, when she goes with the family, they sit on the ground, they will eat sticky rice, make it a ball with insects, with curry, with, like they have a very different way, and they eat together. Like even the Filipinos, they eat sitting in a circle. Like Arabs, they will eat in a very big plate. They'll put their hand biryani and meat and all that. But you'll not get to see this in a Western culture. Like they're not going to have a big plate and everyone puts their hand in and eat like this, or a plate. No. So in the same way, India has so many values, from eating with the hand to the curries, to the worship, to the parents, to the expectations, to the behavior. So they say, like they use this expression very crude. You can take a girl out of a bar, a girl, prostitute, you can take her out of a bar, but you cannot take the bar out of the girl, because she's forever, that's her life. So in the same way, you can take an Indian out of India, but you can't take the India out of an Indian. He'll always be there. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing where you're a single Indian surrounded by people of different nationalities. And eventually, when they find out, like, oh, he's spanking his child or he's shouting and all, it becomes a big mess, because the children will be affected by the lives of other children who study in the West. Number 20, though, I don't have to elaborate much. The food, the culture, the tradition, the beliefs. An Indian will always have Indian, like, for example, me, it cannot change. Even though I lived in Dubai all these years, there is certain Indian bits, Indianish things, like respecting the elders, like the hierarchy of values, the hierarchy of positions of power, what a wife's role is, what a husband's role is, what a child's role is. Like, I'm not going to give my child a private room. I'm not going to give my child a phone with a password and she can do whatever she wants. No. As long as you're under my roof, under my earnings, you follow my rules. The day you don't want to, that means you have to go out, earn your own, live your own, and pay the price by your own. So many people don't like it. Many Westerners or people abroad say, you're a male chauvinistic pig. This is animalistic way. It's not your values. It's mine. Number 21 is the taxation system, which comes as a shock for many because they think they only calculate the income. They don't calculate, I have to pay tax for this, I have to pay tax for that, I have to pay tax for everything. So that is very uncomfortable for many to realize that whatever I earn, I'm paying 30. In some places like Denmark, I think it's nearly 50%. So that comes as a shock for them. And you need a lawyer or a legal team to calculate some things which they're not accustomed to. Number 22 is the loss of identity. Are you an Indian or are you a Western expat? Yes, you have a Canadian passport. Yes, you're American, but you're Indian, right? Indian origin, right? So, and it's like a duck trying to enter a chicken farm and say, hey, I'm a chicken now. I have a chicken passport. But sorry, you're a duck. Or a chicken goes to a duck farm. Hey, I have a duck passport. Sorry, you're still, you're not, you have a chicken passport, but you're still a duck. So in the same way, Indians will not accept you as Indian. Westerners will not accept you as a Westerner. So you're like the first generation, at least, no man's land. And yes, there are many people who tell me, Loy, I'm coming back to Dubai. I have a British passport. I have an American. So then I ask him, sorry, Shekhar Suman is not very British. Or Rahul Jayasuri, Jay Prakash, some name, Indian name, boss, who are you trying to fool? Or Mohammed Afzal, okay, first generation from Pakistan. Hey, I'm British, or I'm American. Were you born and raised in? No. My parents bought me here when I was small. I'm sorry, but they will not identify. So West will not accept you. Your own country will not accept you. You are in no man's land. Number 23 is something people don't think about, but when it happens, it opens up a Pandora's box of challenges. For me also, it's the same. Children. I get these funny clients who tell me the rules that their children will follow and all that. Yes, we parents would like our children to follow certain rules. I have rules that I would like my child to follow. Thankfully, it's progressive enough that it blends it with the Thai culture. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. And in a couple of cases, you even have where the marriage ends in a divorce, or the child never respects the father or the mother. Because remember, the child is being born in foreign soil, is interacting with children in a foreign school, is interacting with in the college. So they live a very foreign culture. So they will not look, sound, talk, behave, anything like you. And sometimes what happens is, if they're highly influenced by that, then you're at their mercy. Unless, of course, you have a lot of money. So children get really impacted there. Number 24 is, I did not initially know about this, but because I get clients, I came to find out, the possibility of getting sued is very high. Legal litigation, problems, issues, oh, he cut my hair the wrong way, or he washed my clothes. Like there was this American judge, you can Google search, American judge who gave his clothes to a Vietnamese or Asian laundromat. I think it was from Vietnam. And because he didn't like the way they wash it, he sued them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyway, thankfully, common sense prevailed and they couldn't, he didn't win damages, but it impacted them so deeply. I followed the story. They were really, really uh, traumatized. You also had in Canada where you had this guy. This one you must watch. Transgender guy, big fat plum white male who identified himself as a female and he wanted a bikini wax. He has balls, he has male genitalia, and he wanted to get a bikini wax meant for ladies because he identified as a lady to these, I don't know, Filipina or Asian women. And they said, no, we are not going to do it. And they were threatened with jail and because supposed to be transphobic. I think he won the case, but the judge ruled that they couldn't force these ladies to wax his balls and give him a bikini wax from his butthole to everything else just because he considered himself a female, even though he had male genitalia. So, what I'm telling you is the possibility of getting sued for all the stupid and wrong reasons. And that is one of the major reasons why I refuse to want to go abroad, even though I had a slight possibility. Because tomorrow anyone can just sue you. Oh, he he said something that mentally and emotionally affected me so much today I can't sleep in the night. I'm suing him for 1 million in damages. Or he said something that is so racist I can't take it. Or he shouted at me and I had a mental breakdown. People can say all this shit. Yeah, come on. So getting sued, it's a new phenomenon for our Indians. And last, if not the least, the climax is our Indians go abroad, obviously proud of their white passport. I'm finally American, finally Canadian, finally Australian. Initially, when they go abroad, they want to target white females because that is their dream. I never got a blonde female. Even I had that blonde female, blue eyes, look like a typical American Hollywood star because that is what we think. And then we see all these movies, erotic sex, and the female is like, I want to give you pleasure. I want to keep you happy. And she pushes you against the wall and, does all that crazy basic instinct stuff. However, after that initial phase, no, of girlfriend and arm candy, and look at my girl, I'm Indian, but look at the girls, I'm getting the hot girls here. You show everyone. When it comes to marriage, no, it's nothing like it. And then they realize, yes, you need a prenuptial, you need all that crap, and they can sue you, take you to court. And so they finally decide, boss, if I'm getting married, I'll get married to Indian. I'm Indian, I'll get married to Indian. Now, here lies the problem. Our Indians are not saints, especially females. They know for a fact if they want to get married, they want the return on investment for what the father and mother has put. They have to target Goras. Okay. So if they don't get a Gora, the second best is Indian with Gora passport. Why? So I can go abroad, I can get a passport, I can get a Gora life. My children will be Goras. I'll be upscale in my community. Oh, she's gone to America. Oh, she's gone to Canada. They look up to you. So these girls, they have this agenda, hidden agenda. I can challenge you and tell you this. If you ask an Indian girl, do you want to marry Ramu from the village? Okay, Ramu from the village in Punjab or Kerala or UP, or Ramu who's staying in Vancouver, or Ramu who's staying in Washington, DC. Blindly, I'll tell you, challenge. By default, she'll choose Washington, DC or the thing because Ramu in the village with Buffalo, Ramu over there, maybe Tesla, maybe Google, maybe. Okay, that's one. Number two is they definitely look at earning in rupees versus earning in dollars. So it registers in their head. And number three, they realize, see, once I get a passport, I don't need this husband forever. I can tell him, fuck off, yeah. In India, if I tell him, fuck off, yeah, the law, I can get so much rupees in damages, but I'm still stuck in the same society and neighbors and gossipy. There I'll have Gora passport. I can go anywhere. So they're very calculative on this. And which is why the kind of proposals that they get, it is not safe for even our Indians. It's like the Indians' biggest enemy is an Indian man choosing an Indian woman. And no matter what you do, you might say, Loy, what is the solution? Oh, boss. The minute the girl realizes you have a white passport, her mind is, it is like AI computing power. It'll go into quantum mode. It'll calculate passport, dollars, freedom, um, you know, um self-respect and ego. I've had cases of clients who have married to Indian females, and obviously people come to me only in problems. I'm not saying all the Indian couples have this, but the ones who have problems come to me. It's like if you're sick, you go to a doctor. Oof. Oh my goodness. The way they fight. I've had secret recording, secret video kept. Whew. Oh, it is so bad. It is so bad. I'm like, whew. It's like a horror movie, boss. So they seek an Indian husband, Indian wife. Expectations are all over the place. And then, if things don't work out, it's a nightmare. And I can see so many getting over there. So, yeah, these are the 25 major problems our Indians are facing, especially in 2025. I know it's a long list, but the reason why I wanted to share one go only is so that if you're planning to migrate abroad, don't think that migrating will solve all your problems. It doesn't. Okay. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know your thoughts, whether you agree, disagree, and what do you think. All right. Good, bad, ugly. Feel free, comment down below. This is me signing off. Take care.